The future of Destiny was just revealed, and in this video, I'm going to be analyzing all of the story and lore we got for the upcoming expansions, and make some interesting theories. Let's start with the first trailer we got for the Edge of Fate. Our Guardian is called by the Emissary of the Nine to a distant planetoid. We take off from the last city, which features a fully rebuilt old tower and helm. The old tower looks brand new, so sometime between now and the Edge of Fate, it's been rebuilt. Currently in game, it's still under construction. We reach the Orc Cloud at the Edge of Sol. The Emissary is telling our Guardian that the Nine are inviting us to this location, and that they have a plan for us. However, another part of the Emissary is disagreeing with the Nine's decision, and tells him this.
They are fated to remember. I'm sure you will, but not through me. Find someone else.
The Emissary quits being the Emissary of the Nine, returning to her form as Orin, a Guardian, in a very visceral moment. She no longer wants to bear the role of Emissary, and throughout the Rite of the Nine event, we'll quickly learn how she's starting to break. In the opening cutscene to the new event, Orin as the Emissary delivers a message to us from the Nine. However, we watch as her true self starts to slip through the cracks. She pleads for our help, and it seems like the events of the Rite of the Nine will allow Orin to return to her Guardian self at the beginning of the Edge of Fate. The location the Nine are inviting us to is a planetoid in the Orc Cloud called Kepler. Kepler is a planetoid that has an intense dark matter presence, and a bioluminescent microbe on the planetoid that will allow us to visually see the dark matter. The dark matter has this green energy look to it, and we'll learn how it has influenced the environment, people, and time around the planetoid. The dark matter here can also interact with our abilities. For example, it can interact with our arc light, and that combination becomes something known as matter spark, allowing us to transform into a ball of dark matter and arc energy. It seems like the presence on Kepler has allowed for strange time singularities and manipulations, as we see objects and structures from Earth's past in Kepler's present. One of these oddities is a train from old Earth, which carries a man from the past known as Lodi. Yes, this is that Lodi from Vesper's host, the one who sent a message through the anomaly, telling us this.
Lodi transmitting. Status moonsick. Adrift. Odysseus protocol active.
And I was right about what Lodi meant. I predicted that Lodi was a singular person far from home, and based this prediction off the dialogue we got. Lodi is the name for a city in California and a song by Creedence Clearwater Revival, a 60s band. In the song, a man is trapped in Lodi and cannot find his way back home. The Vesper's host dialogue also mentions the Odysseus protocol, which links to the tale of Odysseus in Homer's Odyssey. In that story, Odysseus becomes lost, far from home, and takes 10 years to return. The dialogue also mentions that Lodi is moonsick and adrift. Moonsick, a word for being insane or crazy. So what it looks like is that the Nine brought Lodi from Earth's past into Kepler's present by perhaps that train that we see. Funnily enough, one of the lyrics of the Lodi song mentions a train, quote, "You know I'd catch the next train back to where I live," end quote. We know the Nine have something to do with his arrival, as they invite him, Ikora, and our Guardian to Kepler for a reason. The Nine have a plan for us, and it's a plan that they've been working on for a long time. The next question is, what time does Lodi come from? And I think we know exactly when and where he comes from. My evidence comes from the gameplay trailer, where Lodi tells us a few things.
Guardian, I had a vision. I'm to show us disasters. I'm not human anymore.
He first tells us that he's received visions of disaster and that he doesn't feel like he's human. And later we see very interesting visuals that match his descriptions. We watch a train hurtling toward Lodi with the green dark matter connected to it. This looks to be a Chicago L cart, which was built around the 1950s and was used for the Chicago transit system. And within the train there are some interesting logos and symbols. Some seem to be regarding new companies or organizations, but one of them reads Ishtar Research Lab, which seems to be the precursor to the Ishtar Collective that we know in Destiny. Back to Lodi, we see a very strange visual of Lodi's head multiplying and stretching in odd ways. This may tie back to Lodi's statement of no longer feeling human. The green color indicates that dark matter has something to do with this transformation. We then see a visual of Lodi levitating during the collapse. We see a ton of pyramid ships in the distance and pure chaos in the city, so definitely a visual of the collapse. It seems like Lodi was present during the collapse in the city and then somehow interacted with a train that brought him through time to the present day Kepler. So what city is this? Well, I think it's Chicago. First of all, the major building in the center seems to be a destroyed Willis Tower. It features a very similar shape, with antennas on top of a smaller portion of the building. The background buildings could also be Chicago natives, like this one, which might be the Chicago Board of Trade building. We know that Chicago has ties to this expansion, and the Collector's Edition does confirm that. Twitter user Hex Cody was able to upscale an image of a lore card found in the Collector's Edition trailer. What we find is a letter from William Moffat. the director of the Department of External Observations, to someone known as Mr. Yarrow. The department is based in Chicago and talks about observing strange phenomena. Mr. Yarrow and William met at the Linguistic Society of America, and Mr. Yarrow is an expert in analyzing and integrating novel languages. William speaks about a mysterious shape on the horizon, and that with Mr. Yarrow's help, they will be able to perceive it. Mr. Yarrow is a man who has studied language intensively, and how it may transcend language barriers, as the department intends to use his expertise to perhaps communicate with the mysterious shape. It's also interesting to note that Yarrow, quote, is a name in various languages, used as a given name and a surname. So the name itself transcends language barriers as it's seen across cultures. In the chess ARG, we saw the same idea. We learned how the group ION, the Apollo Intertemporal Observation Network, studied chess as a language that transcends time. Perhaps the Department of External Observations evolved into ION, the study of intertemporal observations. While we're talking about Chicago, I do want to bring up the very few times it's been mentioned in Destiny lore. We know that it's the place where the Graviton Lance was discovered, and there were some strange gravitational anomalies there. A strange creature also lurks within the tombs and tunnels beneath the city. In the Collector's Edition, we will receive a medallion with the words Observe, Connect, Conceal, and Confirm, Comply, Return written on it with this strange symbol. Now, it seems like this medallion belongs to the Department of External Observations, as the logo on the letter has a similar symbol to the medallion. Lodi repeats the words on the medallion at the beginning of the gameplay trailer, almost like they are words ingrained into his psyche.
Observe, connect, conceal, conform, comply, return.
The symbol on the medallion looks very similar to what we see on the cloaks of the people in this piece of the Edge of Fate concept art. Knowing how similar the concept art for Edge of Fate has been to in-game visuals, I think it's safe to say that these people are going to look like this in some capacity and most likely bear the same symbol. Now, we don't know much of the people of Kepler, only that they've been here for a very long time, interact with dark matter, and may have had access to the Ion Archives website from the ARG, but it seems like they have some connection to this department. I think Lodi is this Mr. Yarrow character, Lodi Yarrow. And this is because we are told that while Lodi is a fish out of water, a character far from home, he will fit right into the Destiny universe as his attributes provide purpose. I think he is the one who has studied language so intensively. And in the chess ARG, we were transcending language barriers by using a chessboard and pieces to communicate a message. If the ARG is to be an indication of the future, and that chess is only the start of our way of transcending language, then Lodi's skills will fit right in. However, I still don't trust Lodi. There's something off about him, and I still hold my belief about the end of Vesper's host. Remember, the whole dungeon is about a biomechanical infection that creates a collective of fallen to build the anomaly, the big orange structure. The anomaly is essentially a communications device, and the one message we got from the other side was Lodi saying that he was on his way here. Also, we shouldn't forget that that message said Lodi was moonsick. Clearly there's something wrong with him. One of the Vesper's hosts, Lore Tab, spoke about the experience of one of the Elixni in the fallen hive mind. Quote, faint noises make no sense. Words she doesn't understand. The unelixini babbling of a foreign mind. End quote. These lines are speaking about a foreign language with strange words within the hive mind. If Lodi is still somehow behind the hive mind, and also is this mysterious Mr. Yarrow who has studied language, then this makes perfect sense to be there. The connection to the biomechanical infection also deepens, as the strange substance that we're going to see on Kepler has a very similar shape to that of the infection on Vesper Station. Now, again, this is all a theory. Pure speculation. We don't know much about Lodi or the story of Edge of Fate. If you want to hear more about Vesper's host, go give my video about its lore a watch. There's a few more things regarding the lore and story that I want to talk about. The Kepler weapons are all very interesting. They have these sharp, angular designs while also having a Destiny 1 feel to them. The pulse rifle can fire rockets, and a new hand cannon can fire both arc and stasis bullets. The iconography on these weapons is also pretty interesting. Some symbols look familiar, like what might be the cradle of the Traveler on the scout rifle. The auto rifle features a 4-leaf clover, which is a symbol for luck and good fortune. We know that this auto rifle is called the Giver's Blessing, so perhaps whoever this giver is, and we'll get into that in a bit, is giving good fortune. On Kepler, we're going to be facing the House of Exile, a fallen faction we haven't seen since Destiny 1. These are the fallen who had green cloaks and were on the moon. Cade once said, quote, they live among the hive. Of course they're crazy, end quote. On Kepler though, the House of Exile have formed a connection to the strange substance and bioluminescent microbe. They're covered in the spores, and we learned they are praising a deity known as the Giver. They also have new fallen units. One is the Corsair that can fly around on a jetpack and fire from above. Some others seem to be able to wield the darkness in new ways as well. We're also going to face the Vex, specifically the Coral Vex from episode Echoes. This is quite interesting, as these Vex in particular behave in very strange ways. As for Destiny's future, we learn of the next few releases and the next saga. The next few years of Destiny is titled the Fate Saga, and it's going to be grappling with this idea of fate. This comes right off one of the main themes of the final shape, which was Guardians make their own fate. In the Edge of Fate, the Nine are attempting to place a fate for us, with a plan and an invitation they've been working towards for years now. The saga is also going to be focused on uncovering the foundations of our solar system and unraveling the mysteries it still hides. There's still quite a few mysteries regarding Sol, and it seems like we're at the tip of the iceberg in terms of what we even know right now. Off the top of my head, I can list the Old Chicago Tombs and the Jovian worlds. We don't know much about those. In September, we're getting Ash and Iron, a major update that picks up where Edge of Fate leaves off, and this is going to be focused on returning to the Plaguelands. In December, we're getting Renegades, which is focused on diving into the criminal underworld and facing a new Dredgen in Sol. This expansion is Star Wars inspired, and I want to clear up what that means, as I've seen a lot of conversation that this is going to be a Star Wars Destiny experience, that somehow we're going to fight Darth Vader as a raid boss. And no, that's not going to happen. We don't know much about this expansion outside of a small synopsis, but this is going to be a Destiny story with Destiny characters in the Destiny universe. We aren't going to go to Tatooine, and while the weapons and armor do look like blasters and lightsabers, it is again inspired by Star Wars. I think this inspiration is going to be the same way Lovecraft's books inspired Heresy and Vampire Gothic works inspired Revenant, the same way cowboy and western movies inspired Forsaken inspired The Watcher, and how cyberpunk themes inspired Lightfall. I understand why people are concerned, and I do feel that too, but I think this is going to still feel and look just like Destiny. It's a space western about hunting down the criminals of the Destiny universe, and it's going to be about a new Dredgen. The story of the Dredgens and the Shadows of Yore and Shin Malphur do pay homage to Star Wars, and that exists in Destiny lore already. I for one have been looking forward to a new storyline involving the Dredgens and the criminal element of Destiny, as we've never explored that in-game before. I think we just need to wait until the reveal to really see how Renegades is Star Wars inspired, but in the meantime, I'll be making videos about the Shadows of Yore, the Dredgens, and Shin Malphur. The next two expansions are Shattered Cycle and The Alchemist, releasing in summer and winter 2026. While we have no idea what these two will be about, having an expansion focused on alchemy is very interesting, as Destiny has been pulling from alchemy for a long time. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed, use code abaddon.10 at your next advanced order for a discount. Links are in the description. If you want to watch more, click the video on the screen right now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on Kepler.